Hi, everybody. I'm Tamara Zoner.
And I'm John Davis.
Welcome to Spirit Cafe.
Come in, sit down, and
grab a cup of love.
A Spirituality Without the Guilt podcast. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Spirit Cafe. I am very, very excited to have an evening session tonight because we have a guest today who's on the other side of the world, the bottom side, as it were. And so I'm really excited about our guest today. But before I bring in a guest and before we dive into her amazing stuff, let me, of course, bring in my amazing amigo of happiness, my guru of goodness, my compatriot of compassion, my whatever the heck she is, Miss Tamara Zoner. How are you, Tamara Zoner?
I'm great. It's always entertaining to hear you introduce me. Thank you,
Yeah.
John.
Oh, you are quite welcome, Tamara. I'm excited. I met Kemina Fulwood a while ago in one of my private readings and was struck by all the things that she's bringing out into the world. And I thought, what a perfect guest to bring on to Spirit Cafe and introduce her to Tamara without much information.
I like to come in pretty blind. So I actually did pop onto Kemina's website for a minute before we started. I was like, who are we talking to? I know nothing.
Well,
except for her, that she's very polite in her email communication.
Yeah, well, she's a lovely, wonderful person. We might as well, she can hear everything we're saying right now, so we probably should bring her in. So what do you think? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you all to Kemina Fulwood. Hello, Kemina. How are you?
Hello. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, I was very excited to do it. I was after talking to you on our private reading, I was like, that's just someone cool. I want to talk to this person longer. So, and I wanted to introduce you to the other cool person I know in my life. The only other one I really know in my life is Tamara Zoner. I don't know any other cool people. There's no cool people out there. I'm sad. It's one of those. Anyway, moving on.
You're lying anyway. Cool people. That's half our guests are cool people that you've introduced.
Isn't it amazing how we've had some great guests? So, Kemina, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are, and just give us the intro.
Okay, so like you said, I live in Australia, and I am an energetic health practitioner and a teacher. So I help people's, feel better about themselves, improve their health, and evolve. So I guess my primary focus is to help people to evolve and, raise their energy to a, higher dimensional energy, more loving, just moving people into that heart space. And so I do sessions all over the world. I also teach people what I do. So I teach people how to become a healer. And I also have a book as well that I've just recently released. So I kind of do all that stuff at the moment, bit of everything.
Wow, you've really got some irons and some fires, don't you?
Well, I like to help people as much as I can, and I think if I reach out on all the different ways, I can reach as many people as I possibly can.
Right. So what's the title of your book? Let's get that out there right away.
Okay, so it's called Bite-Sized Changes. So it's about creating bite-sized ways to make radical improvements to your life. So it's I think we all want to improve our life, but most people sort of approach it and they go, okay, I've got to do this big thing, and it's really daunting, and they might do it for a short amount of time, and they get overwhelmed and burnt out quite quickly. So there are ways to go about making changes in your life that are really like bite-sized, right? They can be 1 minute, they can be 5 minutes, just these nice little rituals that we can do, and it actually it helps you to be more present. And really the aim of the game is about being present. I feel it's about being joyous, and happiness is about being in the moment, and the more you're in the moment, the more in your heart you are.
I love
Great,
that. Oh,
great,
we
great
are
answer.
going to be great friends. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, take it away, Tamara.
So everything, of course, I'm like, yes, yes, and yes. And I love the title of your book so much because that's what I'm always pressing upon people, is that it's the baby steps. It's the small changes that make massive transformation. Because if we start small, it's not overwhelming. And so we keep going, we persevere instead of being like, oh my gosh, there's just too much to do, and then quitting. So those bite-sized chunks, it's just brilliant. So what's one of the, do you give sort of some tools and practices in the book? Like what's a bite-sized chunk we could take today?
So there's over 40 different bite-sized changes. So there's an explanation and a theory behind it all. And then there's some really simple ways to do it. So I can give you one of them today. So just a really, like, my favorite one is when I wake up in the morning, I smile and I welcome in the day, right? So I don't look at my phone. I don't allow myself to be distracted by the world that wants to pull me in all sorts of directions. I just connect with myself and I smile and I welcome in the day. And I feel like, just by doing that, it has a ripple effect for the rest of my day.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful. And you're saying the things that I know Tamara believes, and I believe too. I often talk about walking into the grocery store and giving myself a smile before I walk in, so all the people around me will smile as I walk past them. And I think it's true. You take that moment, you set your tone with your small present moment choices, and I think it's absolutely beautiful.
And starting that way first thing is super vital, because research shows that the first 30 minutes of our day matters so much that 12 hours later we're reporting the same kind of mood that we start the day with. So starting off with a smile is really lovely. Now, if you're really sleepy, how do you remember to smile?
Well, I think it's just it's one of those things. There's that Japanese theory, the Kaizen approach, is you do it at the same time every day, and so you don't forget. Whereas if you're just like, okay, I'll do it, I'll do it now, and then the next day you do it at a different time, you're just not going to remember. But it's that creating a habit. Creating a habit takes about 30 days. So sometimes the first few times you might forget, but then after a while you go, oh, I've got to do that smile thing. And then
Yeah, I love that.
it's just, okay, you wake up and you just do it.
Beautiful.
So
You have to make it habitual.
Exactly, yeah. It's all habit. So it's about changing habits that don't work for us and creating new ones that actually do work, that are beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So another one that I can share is one that I call energetic bench presses. So what these are is, our energetic field usually is going inwards because we're looking for other people for validation, to fit in, for approval from other people. So we're trying to receive energy from other people. And sometimes, that's not beneficial energy. Sometimes it can be harmful for us. So our energetic field can go inwards rather than outwards. So we're radiating. What we want to do is go outwards, so we're radiating our energy outwards into the world. And so it kind of creates this protective barrier as well. It strengthens our energetic field as it goes outwards. But most people are going inward as they're looking for that validation. So another one that I find it's a morning one, is when you wake up. I have these little rituals, just 5 minutes that I start the day, and this is one of them. And it's energetic bench presses. So you connect with your energy, and it's like, you feel it strongest in the morning. It's that buzz around your skin, that buzzing that you feel, and that's your energy. So if you connect with that and you're pushing it outwards in every direction, so you're retraining your energy field to go outwards and become bigger, it creates another habit at training your energy to be bigger.
That's amazing. Perfect. So, okay, we've heard some great stuff, but I want to hear about you and how you got started doing all this kind of stuff.
Definitely.
What's your how'd you dive down the spiritual rabbit hole?
Okay, well, I guess it all started, I think, probably about 25 years ago or something. I had this terrible year. It's just like one of those years where everything goes wrong. Your whole life just, every aspect of my life collapsed. My father passed. I broke up with my fiance. I lost my job. I broke my shoulder. It all happened, and I just went, okay, I think I've got to change some things in my life.
Yeah, Tamara and I haven't had any of those kind of experiences.
Well, I've never broken my shoulder for sure.
Yeah, so you had one of those years.
Yeah, so I went and I just had this feeling I've got to go down a spiritual path. And that kind of set me down this road. And I relocated cities and I started doing all these natural therapies because the Western medical system just wasn't working for me. Because I wasn't well, I was stressed out. I was working in advertising. It was just it was the opposite of everything I do now. And so I went, okay, I've got to radically change my life. And I changed cities and I studied kinesiology, which is an energetic health therapy. And that just set me on my path. And after I was doing kinesiology for a while, I started to go, I've got a lot of stuff going on, and this, if I have to peel off one layer at a time, I'm going to be here forever. I'm going to need like lifetimes to do that, because there was a lot. So I went, okay, there's got to be a more powerful way to get to the root of what's going on so I can get more aligned with my true self. And so I just kind of put it out there and asked for it. And I just received all this information, from my guides. And, I sort of checked out other different modalities as well. And I went, well, what out of these modalities is actually useful and what's, just fluff? So I kind of just developed this energetic therapy, which I call BodyFlow energetics. And it helps just to get really down in the root. It works on the cells, it works on the chromosomes, it helps to align the spirit, the soul, and the consciousness with the earth. So just so you're more embodied and sitting in your heart. And so yeah, it came out of a need for me. And working with my clients, like I could see, okay, I always try everything on myself first, and I'm like, because we all need help, right? And I think most people who get into being a practitioner of some sort, more often than not, are starting to help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I resonate with your story just because, people ask me, well, how did you get into teaching about happiness and passion and purpose? And it's because I could remember being happy and then I wasn't, and I wanted to find my way back to it. So yeah, wonderful.
I one of the things you said that I really loved, you said you asked, which of these really work? You asked the source, to God, what really works and what's just fluff. I love that, because you're like, what is my truth? What is the truth that works with me? Because I think there's many different modalities and they work for different people because different people put their belief in and I love the fact that your conversation with the source was to say, all right, let's cut the crap. Right. Let's go ahead and find the ones that work with me, and let's just get rid of the fluff and go straight at it. I just love that open communication with what I would call God, or yada yada, as we would say on this channel.
Yada yada. Oh, I like that. That's cute. I'm going to use that.
We boiled it down to the yada yada.
well, the name got so long. It was like God, consciousness, universe. Just say yada yada and have it done.
Right. I know. I am. I'm like, when I'm explaining it to people, I'm listing out this giant list, and I'm like, I love yada yada.
Yada yada. It's the best. We ought to make the yada yada cookbook or something. I don't know.
A cookbook, John.
God's cookbook. Yada yada's cookbook. Be all filled with like manna and lamb.
So I would love to hear what transformed for you once you started using this new healing modality that basically you and Source co-created. So that's the yada yada cookbook, right?
Right, there you go. Yeah, Kemina's yada yada cookbook.
Oh, I like it. So what changed?
Yeah, what changed for you? How did your life transform?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I just lived more authentically. I think that's just the one thing I can say. It's like I spoke my truth and I didn't realize how much I was lying to myself and everyone else
Amen.
prior. And it's like, I'm like, oh, that's not, I don't really believe that. I don't really mean that. And so it was like I started really just listening, to myself. And it was just then, people's interactions with me changed as well because it came from a place that was true. And so they respond in with their truth as well. So it's just having these really real conversations with people. And it just, I mean, life's much more interesting.
Yeah. I really respect what you said, because I believe the world is ripe with cognitive dissonance. People are saying things that they don't really truly believe in their heart because they think society has told them to, or their religion has told them to, or their parents have told them to, or this is how it's supposed to be. And I think in reality, coming to your authentic self is loving yourself, into fullness. And that's loving yourself unconditionally. And God is love. God is that unconditional love. So the more you can be your authentic self, the more you're representing source, God, yada yada, consciousness, right? The more you can follow your own heart and follow your own feelings of joy and authenticity, the more you're expressing it. I love it. I love what you're saying.
I do too. And I feel like we've been walking down two parallel roads.
I can feel that with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so much of that. I just said that the other day. I was like, I was lying to myself, just lying. The words were not authentic. And then I came to know that I wanted to live authentically from the heart and soul. And that decision changed everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Huge game changer. Game changer. In my life, I've got a really strange life. I've got a really strange life. I mean, I used to wear tights and live in the woods, for God's sakes. I did Renaissance festivals.
Moved out of the bush, actually.
Did you? See, yeah. My father and I never got along. One of the reasons why was he was a plumber, and he had this thing about get a job and work your whole life and pay your mortgage and da 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 da. And I went on the road for over 20 years wearing tights and living in the woods and doing sword fighting shows. And, but now I'm 58 years old in a couple weeks here, and on the same day as Tamara's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We have the same, we have the same birthday, 26th. And, and what's really interesting is, I'm 58 years old. I go to my family reunions. They all surround me to hear my stories because they didn't do anything their entire life because they stuck with their cognitive dissonance rather than following their authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
And I think your life is so much better when you just open up to who you are and let yourself be.
Yes.
Yeah, escape that judgment.
Yeah.
Escape that self-judgment too.
Yeah, it's all about that. Yeah.
So what kind of people come to you? What kind of people come to you, and what kind of help are they looking for?
Gosh, everything. I've helped people who have heart conditions, skin conditions, and I've had quite a few suicidal people recently in the past couple of years. There's quite a lot of that going on. So a lot of anxiety, depression. That's probably the biggest two, and also people just wanting to evolve, just grow, and become their true self. Step more into that. It's really interesting over the years watching the difference in people. Like I would say, years ago I had a lot more chronic health issues, people that with chronic health issues that I helped, and now these days people are like, they just want to, really become who they are, which is it's so beautiful watching the world change through my clients and their needs.
Yeah, that matches up a lot with what John is talking about frequently, about just humanity being more open to spirit and source and themselves, right? We just talked about this a week or two ago, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. In fact, actually, it's the It's the episode that went up today, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I better watch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I think it's really, really beautiful, the work that you've done. The fact that you've taken your authentic self and you've created a life around it. You know what I mean? Because some people don't live their own life; they live other people's lives and expectations. And I like the fact that you've made your joy and your happiness habitual. You've made it who you are, and that to me is just a lovely, lovely statement. And I also like the fact that you with the work that you're doing, you're showing people themselves, that they can step into that energy and that power and that healing. You said you wake up and the first thing you do is smile. And I often say that at the bottom of every breath is where we touch God, because God is.
I just got tingles. I love that.
And it's just right there. And when I get up in the morning, my smile, I get up and I go into a room, and what I do is I exhale, and I just sit in that feeling of that smile for about 40 minutes every morning.
Wow.
And the goosebumps rise. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I know. I can feel what you do. That's amazing. I'm going to try that.
I'm wearing shorts right now. The goosebumps just went down my legs. It's crazy. But that waking up and getting into that sensation, that feeling, and realizing that it's all, the power is right there. And you stepped into your power. Tamara stepped into her power, many times in her life in many different ways. And and I just think I'm a very lucky man. I get to talk to the two of you today, because to me it's just lovely seeing people who are representing their authentic self. And I don't know if you know anything about Tamara, Kemina. Her whole business is based around happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And
I did. I had a sneak peek at her website, and I saw that it was quite aligned with mine.
Yeah.
So you're the one who went to the website. That's good. Okay.
I don't pay much attention to my website, honestly.
I'm just teasing. That's a classic standby joke.
I opened it up last week and thought I should blog something, and then that just stayed open for the whole week until this week. I thought I didn't write. I'm closing that. I'm closing that tab. We'll get back to it.
There you go.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube too. So
yeah. I love it. So Kemina, what's the next level of your work? What's the next thing that you're growing into?
I'm just trying to reach out to more people. So I'm creating. So at the moment, I want to help people to evolve and really shed their trauma. There's a lot of, I feel like people at the moment are really speaking through their trauma, probably more than usual. And so I'm creating a course, an online course to help people release their trauma and connect with source or God, yada yada.
She's converted.
It's going to spread the world now.
So connecting more with that, connect with more the intuitive skills, and just living in more of a heart joyous space. So that's sort of the next big step. Yeah,
and I think it's going to grow huge and all over the world. I think it's going to be spectacular.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. I think it's what people need right now. So I just feel called to do that.
Right. So tell us all the places people can find you, all of the, how do they get a hold of you, all that stuff.
Okay, so I'm on Facebook, Kemina, Kemina, and you can find me on my website, which is bodyflowenergetics.com. And my YouTube channel, which is Kemina. Just straight Kemina. So that's
really? Just Kemina?
Easy.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's such a complicated name. I thought I need to keep it as simple as possible.
Oh yeah. You guys, the two of you, so lucky. Tamara Zoner, Kemina, John Davis.
Right.
Most generic name in history. I'm one step away from Smith.
Wow.
But yeah, no, this has been an absolutely lovely conversation. Tamara, is there anything else you'd like to ask Kemina, or?
Will you be my friend?
Absolutely, I'd I'd love to.
I just went and friended you on Facebook, and I just followed your YouTube, and I just think that you and I are already friends and probably have been for a while without us even knowing each other. And I'm just really excited to see what comes next. I feel that there's some working together coming along in the future.
Ooh, I just got goosebumps. I think. Right.
And Kemina, I really think that you ought to do an interview of Tamara Zoner on your YouTube channel, and you ought to have an interview of me on your YouTube channel, and start pimping up your YouTube channel. And then the two of us can say, hey, I just did an interview on Kemina Fulwood's channel. Go check out our interviews and send people to your channel.
I should interview you on my channel, John.
You should. and I know you from, and who are you again?
You know me from that one corporate event where I was going, oh, I want to do what he's doing. Except for, well, I won't necessarily say without the whip, but
la 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 la. I'm not saying anything. Don't lead a comedian in the water. Don't expect him to drink.
I know you're gonna watch what you say around John, and I can't. Just words come out.
It's the way it is, and I'm right there with you, Tamara. I say the wrong things all the time.
Oh, but it's fun, right? And that's part of living authentically from your heart and from who you truly are. That you get to say the things you want to say, and because we're heart-centered, authentic people, those words are never hurtful. They're always joyful, and they're always bringing more joy. And it's a reflection. So thank you, Kemina, for being who you are and giving others permission to be themselves, because I do think that is what the world needs more of right now, is permission to be yourself and to do what you want to do and what lights your heart up, so that the world becomes a happier place, one person at a time. But
and one moment at a time, and one bite size
and one moment at a time,
and one bite at a time.
Yeah, in bite-sized chunks. So
right.
I can't wait to read your book, and I hope all of our listeners and viewers go and check you out and like your pages and just start to be in the energy of you, because you're really a lovely, lovely soul, and I'm so grateful you came today.
So, Kemina, is there any last words of wisdom you'd like to throw at?
Oh goodness,
us or our audience?
You know what my dad used to say was, "Be a human being, not a doing."
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful,
Amen.
Beautiful. That's lovely. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, well, me too. So, Tamara, you want to take us out of here?
All right, you fabulous viewers and listeners. Thank you for being here with us again this week. And do check out our guests' website and pages and let us know what you think. We want to hear from you. As always, we love to have the conversation. And then furthermore, and finally, go be yourself, because there's only one of you, and we love you. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you for joining us at Spirit Cafe, a place where you can safely explore your spirituality without the guilt or dogma of religion. Please leave all comments on the Spirit Cafe podcast Facebook page or beneath our videos on YouTube.